Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wish to welcome each and every one of us here seated today to the S&P building. We're here, of course, today for the closeout seminar of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund Professorial Chair in Chemical Engineering at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. We have as our topic for today's seminar, Refinery Fluid Catalytic Cracking Zeolite-Based Catalyst. It's Deactivation and Passivation. Once again, I wish to welcome each and every one of us here today. And we start with an opening prayer. 1 minute prayer according to the dictates of an individual faith, please. Thank you very much. May we all rise for the national anthem, which will be followed by the hymn.
Our own dear native land, though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerian fought and proud to set our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace, go back to honor, and this we can't escape. To hang on to our children, our banner without stain. Oh, God of creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation when no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. So now we proclaim, from hills and valleys made high, to draw from the stream of knowledge. Our duty is to succeed in learning and service, and service is our goal. Ahmadu Bello University, yeah, our dreams we shall achieve. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, in Him we derive our strength. We beautifully shall love by the ways of good. North to south, east to west, your name shall always be. Ahmadu, Bello, University,
Thank you, you be seated. It's my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chancellor of Bello University, Zaria, who was one of the first at the venue this morning, Professor Ahmadu. You're welcome, sir. We have also with us Professor Ibrahim Erba, former Vice Chancellor of Bello University, Zaria. The Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic, also the Center Leader for SNP, the building who is hosting us today, Professor Raymond Bako. You're welcome, sir. The Registrar of Bello University, Zaria, round of applause. The chairman of today's event is supposed to be joining us online. He is Professor S.S. Adekila, the former national president, Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers. He was one of our staff here at the Bello University, Zaria. He was the former dean of chemical engineering, former head of department, and also the chairman of the University Organized Lecture Series for a couple of years before he left it. A round of applause for him. You're welcome, sir. We confirm his presence online as we go. I want to recognize also the presence of the Dean of Engineering, Professor Jibril Mohammed Kara. You're welcome, sir. The outgoing professorial chair occupant, Professor Baba El Yakubu. The new professorial chair occupant, Professor Abdulaziz Yusuf Etta. We have also with us here Mrs. Zeno Albert, the desk officer at PTDF Endowment Program. You're welcome. We'll be expecting Madam Bello Mustafa, the Deputy GM, Education and Trade for PTDF. He'll be joining us shortly. We also have seated with us the Deputy Provost of the Postgraduate College, Professor Malik. Recognize the presence of all professors, head of departments here with us. You're welcome. May I call on the Vice Chancellor, Professor Adamu Ahmed, for his opening remarks. Round of applause for him as he comes to the lecture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Executive Secretary, Petroleum Trust Development Fund, ably represented here. The former Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibrahim Garba, the Chairman of the occasion, Professor Adekila, who joined us actually. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Planning, Professorial and the Registrar, other professors here, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a distinct honor and privilege for me to address you today on the subject that holds transformative potential for Nigeria's economic development and technological sovereignty. And this is the advancement of refinery, catalysis, and zeolite research through the ABU PTDF chair. But let me quickly acknowledge the tremendous efforts and interest former Vice Chancellor Professor Brian has played in respect to this. He has shown sufficient passion from the beginning to ensure that this research got to where it is today. I would like to thank you very much for that passion and the effort. I must also commend the center leader and Deputy Vice Chancellor for his own vision in creating this edifice that is hosting us today. Again, this is a World Bank Center that was revived under the leadership of the former Vice Chancellor Professorial. Again, thank you for all of that commitment and sacrifices that have been made to this. Distinguished attendees, Nigeria, as we all know, is blessed with abundant natural resources, oil, gas, and a wealth of mineral and agricultural materials. Yet, paradoxically, despite being one of Africa's largest oil producers, we continue to rely heavily on imported catalysts for our refineries and petrochemical industries. This dependence has significant implications. It drains our foreign exchange reserves, limits industrial self-reliance, and inhibits our ability to create high-value jobs in critical sectors. At the heart of every refinery lies these catalysts. Catalysts are the invisible heroes who drive the conversion of crude oil into fuels and chemical feedstocks that power our economy. One of the most crucial classes of these catalysts is based on zeolite, versatile crystalline materials known for their adjustable porosity and exceptional surface priorities. Zeolites play a defining role in refining processes such as fluid catalytic cracking and residue fluid catalytic cracking, enabling refineries to extract more value from every barrel of crude oil. Since 2003, Petroleum Technology Development Fund (PTDF) chair at Ahmadu Bello University has been at the forefront of pioneering research into Zeolite-based catalysts using indigenous resources. Our team has ingeniously transformed local materials like agave kaolin, rice husk silica, and sugarcane bagasse into advanced zeolite catalysts. This work started nearly 15 years ago is not just academic, it is a practical, innovative, leap-forward building a robust local value chain in catalyst manufacturing. The implications are profound. Imagine a Nigeria where our refineries, from the Dangote refinery to NNPC limited facilities, can rely on catalysts produced within our borders. A Nigeria where we conserve billions of naira in foreign exchange, strengthen our energy security, and create a new industry, high-skilled jobs, and entrepreneurial opportunities. Our research has demonstrated the successful synthesis of advanced zeolite types, including forgesite, types X and Y, analcene, and hexagonal zeolite Y, all tailored for local refining conditions. More impressively, ladies and gentlemen, we have developed and piloted formulations for both FCC and RLCC catalysts capable of handling challenging feedstocks typical of our refineries. We have shown that by modifying zeolites, for instance, through boron incorporation, we can significantly mitigate catalyst deactivation of metal contaminants such as nickel, a long-standing obstacle to heavy residue processing. We have moved beyond theory into practice. We have secured intellectual property rights and are actively laying the groundwork for industry-scale production. The next frontier is clear. It must be commercialization. Ladies and gentlemen, at this critical juncture, I must emphasize that catalysis is not merely a technical curiosity. It is a strategic pillar for economic diversification, industrial growth, and national resilience. By building indigenous capability in catalyst production, we not only enhance our refining efficiency, but also strengthen our position in the global energy landscape. Our partnership with PTDF exemplifies what can be achieved when academia, government, and industry work hand in hand. Together, we can catalyze, quite literally, a new era of technological independence and prosperity for our country. Ahmadu Bello University stands committed to this vision. And here, I, on behalf of this great university, would like to declare that we are committed to a future in which our researchers profit from their long hours of toil in the laboratories, and in which the university boldly aligns its research priorities with national imperatives. This commitment is not abstract. It is a strategic pillar of our institutional vision going forward. Ahmadu Bello University must produce knowledge that works, research that delivers, patents that profit, and innovations that transform. Therefore, I call on stakeholders, government agencies, private investors, oil and gas operators, and development partners to join us in this endeavor. Let us transform decades of research excellence into tangible economic gains. Let us invest in local capacity, support technology transfer, and create an environment where Nigerian ingenuity thrives. As we look ahead, we see not just the possibility, but the necessity of a Nigeria that no longer imports what it can innovatively produce. A Nigeria where our youth find meaningful, rewarding careers in advanced manufacturing and chemical engineering. A Nigeria that is fully and proudly self-reliant. In this regard, ABU is fully aligning ourselves with the recently launched Nigeria First policy of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This policy is a timely and bold reaffirmation of the need to place Nigerian solutions at the center of Nigeria's development. We are ready as a university, not in theory, but in action, to be an active institutional partner in that agenda. I thank you all for your commitment, and I invite each of you to be part of this journey. Together, let us build the future, one catalyst at a time. At this point, I'd like to thank again all our researchers that have been part of this long journey, and to wish the outgoing PTDF chair all the best, and ask that he continues to be part of this great journey going forward. And the incoming PTDF chair, we wish you all the best as you carry the flag forward. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Another round of applause for the Vice Chancellor as he takes his seat. It's indeed an honor to have Professor Zaria here with us. It's evident the role he played in us being here today. A round of applause for him, please. We have just been joined by the representative. We have just been joined by the representative of the Executive Secretary of PTDF, person of Bello, the Deputy GM Education and Training, PTDF. You're welcome, sir. Round of applause for him. I also want to recognize the presence of Professor Ahmadu, the former Vice Chancellor of Kaduna. Round of applause for him. We also have with us the Deputy Registrar of Council Affairs, Madam Sani Abashi Ahmed. Round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. Professor S.S. Adela is with us online. Sir, I would want to call on you for the welcome address. Chairman's welcome address. Professor Adela, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Can I please stand on existing protocols?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If I'm allowed to.
Yes, sir.
That. I'm so happy and thank God for this opportunity that all of us have today to listen to this close-out lecture of our third PTDF chair. Can you hear me, please? Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me put on my camera. Okay, can you see? Unfortunately, I don't have power in the office right now when of our rates. I'm sure all of us are aware what this chair was established for. It was established to develop catalytic materials and other materials that can be useful in the oil industry, majorly for catalysis and many other uses. So we decided to focus on zeolites. And when the whole thing started, we had to start from the scratch. But we are so grateful that PTDF has played a very, very, very important role in supporting the chair to get to where we have gotten today. Started with very little equipment, with very few facilities generally. But I'm so pleased to tell us that, that presenting this lecture today was outside the country that time and had access to equipment. We had to send some of our people to him at that particular time, and he did assist, not knowing that he was actually assisting himself. Today, we are where we are. The grace of God, by the grace of PTDF, by the grace of the university, and many other people that have supported up to now. So I'm happy that this lecture is holding today. So I want us to listen carefully the lecture, and I'm very, very sure we are going to enjoy it. And I also believe that very soon we start enjoying the providence, the dividends of this tech in industry very, very soon. So I welcome all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor S.S. Adela, for your welcome address. With the permission of the chairman, I would want to call on the address by the special guest of honor, Ahmed Galadima, new Executive Secretary PTDF, who is here represented by Bello, Deputy GM Education and Trade, PTDF Abuja. Round of applause for him, please. The Vice Chancellor, sir, the distinguished members of the University Senate, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, our esteemed Chair Professor, faculty members, industry partners, students, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bello Mustafa, representing the Executive Secretary of PTDF, who is unavoidably absent due to other exigencies of work. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a pleasure and indeed a great honor to join you today for this momentous occasion to close our seminar of the PTDF and our Professorial Chair in Chemical Engineering here at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. But today is not just about bringing a chapter to a close. It is about celebrating a journey of vision, dedication, research excellence, and above all, impact. When this chair was established, it was born from a very clear and strategic purpose to build local capacity in critical refining technologies and to generate solutions to the real-world technical challenges confronting the Nigerian oil and gas industry. Today, we can proudly say that this vision has borne fruit. The seminar theme, Refinery Fluid Catalytic Zeolite-Based Catalyst, is the activation and passivation is not only technically rich but highly relevant. Catalytic cracking is a vital part of modern turning heavy hydrocarbons into valuable fuels and chemicals. Through this chair, we have deepened our understanding of complex refining mechanisms, but more importantly, we have done so from a Nigerian perspective, leveraging homegrown expertise to address local industry needs. This is what PTDF means by research that is both rigorous and relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, at PTDF, we see research not as an end in itself, but as a catalyst for broader transformation. Through initiatives like this, the chair aims to achieve more than just academic papers and patents. We aim to nurture people, ideas, and institutions that will shape the future of our energy sector. And this professorial chair has done exactly that. It has trained and mentored a new generation of Nigerian engineers and researchers. It has created platforms for knowledge sharing and industry academic dialogue. It has sparked new ideas that can influence refinery operations and technology development in Nigeria. This aligns perfectly with our threefold mission at PTDF to build human capital, strengthen institutions, and support innovation across Nigeria's petroleum landscape. Let me take this moment to sincerely commend Professor Jibril for his tireless commitment, unwavering focus, and the outstanding quality of work delivered for this chair's tenure. Professor, your leadership and scholarship have raised the bar. You have shown what is possible when brilliance meets opportunity. To the ABU management, we thank you for providing the institutional support and academic environment necessary for this success. This collaboration with PTDF has been deeply rewarding, and I'm confident that our partnership will continue to yield even greater outcomes in the years ahead. As we close this chapter and prepare for the next, let us reflect on what truly matters, the legacy we leave behind. It is not the end of a chair that defines its worth, but the lasting value it brings, the ideas it unlocks, the students it inspires, the technologies it generates, and the growth it opens for Nigeria to take its rightful place in the the global energy community. Let today's event serve as a call to action, a call to deepen collaboration between academia, industry, and government to invest in high-impact, solution-driven research and to position our universities not just as centers of learning, but as engines of national transformation. The PTDF remains unwavering in its commitment to this cause. We will continue to support programs that enhance Nigeria's scientific capabilities, increase our energy self-reliance, and elevate our contribution to the global knowledge economy. In closing, I once again congratulate Professor Bello and his research team for their remarkable achievements. I thank APU for its enduring partnership, and I encourage all stakeholders here today to keep pushing the frontiers of knowledge for the benefit of Nigeria and the generations to come. Thank you all for being part of this important journey. May we continue to pursue excellence in the service of our great nation. God bless you all. Ahmed Bello, Executive Secretary, PTDF.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mohammed Bello Mustafa. Permission of the chairman, I would want to call for the seminar Refinery through Catalytic cracking Zeolite-Based catalyst, its deactivation and passivation. The topic for today, which will be presented by our outgoing chair, Professor Baba El-Yabu.
Flash, so just his system is not compatible. You can just flash and send it back.
Just copy them.
Copy, yes. Yes. The flash. I copy. I copy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why?
The which? Actually, it's in the drive.
Have it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry for the slide glitch. Good time limitation, please, Mr. Chairman, members of the High Table, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. As mentioned earlier, this is a close-out seminar, final task of the chair professor, the chair professor. As you can see, the title of the presentation is Refinery Fluid Catalytic Cracking, Zeolite-Based Catalyst. We are focusing on its deactivation and passivation. This is, like I said, part of work that we have been doing for the last 7, 8 years. So this is a summary of a portion of our work. The presentation is going to be based on this outline. I'll try to summarize some sections, but it was planned to be for about 80 minutes, but now I'll try to make it about 40, 35 minutes. I'm going to look at the introduction briefly. Not knowing the audience, I'll try to highlight some aspects of the zeolite, especially the second point, reaction and deactivation. And then I'll be on some recent work we did, as I said, and then find the problem we are trying to solve for this particular presentation, material and method, and then we highlight sample results of the work. And of course, I will give conclusion recommendations.
And then finally, I will summarize the other important work that really will be reported for audience. When we talk about catalysis in refinery, I'm sure the person that comes to mind is the issue of gasoline. We are all aware about this. Whenever you put gasoline in your car, or if you don't have a car, you are driving, you keep in mind that the most important variable is the refinery cost. The cost of crude oil is fixed. The pan taxation is fixed. It's not in your hand. The marketing. But the important point is, as chemical engineers, we try to optimize and improve the refining process. So our focus today is how do we now improve refining process. Whenever I talk about refinery, we have three major activities in any refinery operation. We take in the raw material, and then we either perform simple separation, the one here we call fractionation, distillation, physical process, or we go into chemical conversion where the identity of a particular chemical is changed, either because it is breaking down and cracking, or it's combined with another chemical, or the configuration of the molecule is changed in what we call isomerization. I don't want to go into chemistry, but just to highlight the important steps, reactions. And sometimes we blend the products to meet particular needs. So essentially, these are the three major set of activities in any refinery operation. If I can go deeper, this is a complete refinery, a schematic diagram. Starting from the raw material all the way to product. My important point is there are 9 different units in the refinery that require catalysts. And every single gram of this is imported to Nigeria. And we need to look at this very important because it's a very expensive input to refinery operation. Today we are focusing on this one, which we call fluid catalytic cracking unit of refinery. It's the most important unit. It improves the gasoline yield, it improves the profitability, and it relies heavily on imported catalysts. Again, if I can zoom further into the FCC unit, you can see this is typical operation in FCC. I'm not taking you through each of the stages, but as you can see, we take in the feed, which is heavy component of the crude oil, and it passes through a process, and then it enters into this unit we call a reactor, of course taking the catalyst. You see that's what we're talking about today. So this catalyst combines together with the feed into a reactor we call riser for a few seconds. It goes up here, the gases go this way, and the solid is disengaged. Very simple process, anybody can understand. If I explain to my wife, it's a test. And she said, okay. I said, okay, tomorrow we'll do okay. So if it comes down the solid here, unfortunately the solid gets deactivated. So when it is deactivated, it passes through a line here and goes to another place called regenerator. So these are the 2 key units where the action takes place and where the catalyst is regenerated. And combined with the fresh catalyst, it goes back into the reactor. It's a very continuous process. It was discovered at MIT. It's one of the most important achievements in chemical engineering, continuous cracking of heavy part crude oil. Now, this looks like a typical unit in the refinery. You can see the reactor is here. You can see the regenerator is here. But one thing that I would like to tell home, anybody in this audience, in the Dangote refinery, the one we have in Nigeria, at the highest capacity, it operates around 650,000 barrels per day. This is the design capacity of the Dangote refinery. At that capacity, it needs 485,000 tons of catalyst that needs to be charged into the reactor. And another important problem is every single charge, every single day, you need to take away about 2% due to attrition, due to renewal, charge inside. So not only what you put at the beginning is a problem, but what you continuously withdraw and add. Because it's how it works. You don't change it at the time. You keep on withdrawing and adding to continuously operate. So even at daily level, you can see we need 9,700 tons of the catalyst at full capacity of Dangote Refinery. And every single one of these, every single program of this is imported. Over there, with our student in Dangote Refinery, because we focused on this for the last 4 years, and it was an exciting moment when we submitted our result to Dangote, and we look forward to when can we commercialize this very important result. Now let me take you to the chemistry. Please forgive the chemistry, but it's important to have a background. When you say zeolite catalyst, it's a very simple combination of atoms, silicon and aluminum, combined together to give you a network of material. We have natural zeolite, but we don't use natural zeolite for catalysis because of the contamination, because of the impurities, and because of lack of optimization. But to use for catalysis, we need to optimize. And work has been done by other researchers. I'm sure some of you will be aware that Union Carbide did a lot of work on synthetic zeolite. In fact, this is one of the zeolite, or two of them, were discovered at Union Carbide. So what we did, we look at this issue of deactivation. Whenever reaction takes place, the catalyst gets deactivated. It's a fresh catalyst, and you see the white color. And after that, it becomes very dark, and you see. But whenever we talk about catalysts, it has different components. Zeolite is only one of them. Zeolite is only one of them. So now what do we need? We look at the reaction. Can you see the reaction? The component are divided. Can I sit down, please?
The mic. Use it close. Out.
You just want him to just take some time and rest. I'll continue the presentation. I think I'm the right person to continue. I've spent 20 years working with him, right from the first year professor of the second third. So I will continue with the talk. What we have here is a slide showing in a refinery. Hello. While the chair professor is taking for medical attention, we wish him quick recovery. But I will continue the slide to show some of the key results that we obtained during his tenure as chair professor. As I said earlier, the key reactor where the catalyst is being utilized is the FCC, the fluid catalytic cracking unit. But the interesting thing you have here is that if you look at the slides, you have the FCC, you have the RFC. You have the FCC, the RFC. In NNPC use FCC technology, while the Dangote use RFCC. So what does that simply imply? It implies for FCC, once you get the crude oil, it has to be distilled, first of all, and the distillation can be atmospheric and vacuum distillation. So you have NNPC has atmospheric distillation units and vacuum distillation units. The Dangote Refinery has only atmospheric distillation unit. You can see it costs major savings in terms of capital investment for Dangote Refinery. But this comes with its challenges. While Dangote Refinery does not have that pity you mentioned. Okay. Do you want to just show that? Yeah, I'm sorry for the glitch. I'm sorry. Okay, can I continue? Yes. You know, I was a bit dizzy, so I said, okay, let me announce. I was down here. I was smart. Yeah. I don't want to fall down and then. Sorry, I'm sorry for the. Actually, this first time I was, I don't know. It was definitely early to even have any video. I'm sorry for the disturbance. Can I continue? Okay, so right. Thank you very much. Thank you. So let me continue where Robert stopped. As I was saying, the most important part of refinery is the FCC unit, where it cracks the heavy component. Those days, I always say masculites. We used to throw away
heavy components. But with discovery of FCC units, you can take this HGO and BGO and make them more of gasoline compared to lithium. But recently, refineries like Dangote Refinery now establish RFCC. That not only take this to combine with the bottom. The bottom is almost useless all those days. But now Dangote Refinery is a powerhouse that converts this heavy component into money. Right. So it's very important for them to look at this. Why? Because the more you use heavy components, the more you get deactivated. All the heavy metals are inside the residue. So now this is what we have: more production of gasoline, and then these plates are not going to go into what is with this plate. And I will not talk about why it's needed. But the point is, you end up with coke. Because you are breaking heavy components. Heavy component means heavy organic compound. And this is again extracted. This is the reactor. This is the riser, as I mentioned earlier. And this is the riser. Now, if you go ahead and look at the oil, you look at black material, but for us, we look at the molecules in atom. So you have the citrate, essentially your gasoline part, you have the aromatics, you have the asphaltene and resins, they are all part of the oil. And this is what leads to the activation because you have heavy component. But important point is, in addition to this major component that we use, there's another component, porphyrin, is a metal organic compound that you can say at the center is nickel. And this nickel is the problem because the more you recycle and try to produce more and more oil, the more this nickel deposit on the catalyst surface. And when you deposit on the catalyst surface, it deactivates the catalyst. And this reaction, again, I'm not going into the chemistry. The zeolite is important because it is what we call solid acid. It can easily give up this hydrogen. And once the hydrogen moves from the zeolite into the molecule, you end up with stabilized molecule. If you look at chemistry, or if you for me, now it's highly energetic, and therefore it breaks. Now when it breaks, it leads to other reactions, alkylation, dealkylation, transregulation, hydrogenation, etc. And there is more of a reaction. I'm not going into detail. But the important point is this catalyst get deactivated, as you can see. Combining this molecule or brain with the catalyst surface, you end up with deactivated catalyst. Because we developed this model, we read the paper last year as our concept of how nickel actually deactivates catalyst. And this is the gas we want to looking for, and this is a gas that we don't like. And the more you put this gas, you have this advantage. We have to separate it, you have to compress, etc. We won't go into detail. But the point is, this particular metal, the activated catalyst, because they come from the original material. I'm sure Professor Brown can tell us more how actually oil is produced over here. So there are more other metals that we can consider. For example, in addition to nickel, here we are trying to see how do we mitigate the nickel deactivation. One way to mitigate is to use antimony. Again, we're not going to the chemistry, but there are important limitations with respect to using antimony. Another way is to use aluminum. Again, there are limitations when you use aluminum. So one way is to use boron. So this is a typical crystalline structure of nickel. As it is, it leads to those reactions that we say hydrogen production and light gas production. What we did was to consider addition of boron. If you remember your chemistry, by the time you add boron, you are changing the structure to an alloy. See? And this alloy is less active, and therefore you are mitigating the effects of nickel by adding boron. And this is where really the actual work comes in. We look at the other metals, as I said earlier, vanadium, iron, sodium, they are all part of the original oil that may deactivate the catalyst, but today we are focusing only on the nickel. These are other works done in the area. We will not go into detail, but we have seen the limitation of the previous works. And then based on this, we look at the actual problem that nickel actually is a problem because it deactivates the catalyst, and there are different works, but we were trying to expand the range of operation. How much nickel do we look at, and how much vanadium, boron, can we add to the catalyst? And not only that, we have some works in the literature, but nobody will tell you detail. These companies, they have their own secret. But then we look at different zeolite to see what happened when the zeolite is changed from one to another. So this is what we did. We tried to look at the different zeolite. This is zeolite Y. Is the zeolite already has been patented in the department on the chair how to produce. So what we did was to look at similar zeolite, which we call ultra stable zeolite, that has been processed to make it stable for different applications. And then we have another one called daily ultra stable zeolite Y. Again, modified for some purpose. So you can see all these three zeolite are the same zeolite. Already we have patent in the department to produce it, and then we have very ultra stable and very ultra stable. And we look at the boron and nickel on the zeolite to see how it will perform. So this is the scope of the work. This is the reason why we are doing the work. I'm not going into all this detail. But the important point is we got our chemicals for the preparation of the catalyst. We characterize the sample. It's very important. And I'm going to tell you that I'm very happy there is here. All this analysis we are doing in India. We didn't have them in Nigeria. So we look forward to a time you can characterize the catalyst in Nigeria. Because whenever we publish or we patent, people like to know the property, the structure, right, of the catalyst. And therefore, we really need to have local characterization. Because whatever you claim, they ask you what is the expert property, what is other property. So it's very important to consider local. So this is the methodology, and it's very important. Of course, already we fighting for this part of the story, because the method is very important. The process, the conditions, very important. And this is the reactor we use. Again, this is the only one I know available in Nigeria. I'm thank you for this. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Grant Garba for during his time when we got our first batch of take-up grants. We put everything together and we got this reactor, which we use now for language training. So it's very simple, a box. We got a reactor. The display of the temperature, pressure, and other processes, the chamber where the action takes place. So if you imagine when I show you a real life, and it's just laboratory scale where we can test what we are doing, but we need more support because we don't have capacity to analyze the exit gases using DC analysis. So we need to have very strong DC to continue. Here we use simple gas analyzer for analysis. So these are the sample results that we obtained. Again, I will not bother you with too much of story, but one is we added nickel and we tried to see what is the nature of the nickel to understand the deactivation property of the nickel. And this is X-ray diffraction, again, done in India. We won't go into what the meaning of all this beautiful color and things. Well, at least we know what we are talking about. And this is more. And then we also look at the other properties of the zeolite. We look at surface area. In fact, we can see the hysteresis loop. Again, I'm not bothering you with what the meaning of this loop when it has something like this. Compared with this, or this, but one is we are able to explain the property of the catalyst. This is XPS to help us to know the oxidation state of the catalyst surface. And this is what we call the SEM. Again, as you can see, actually, this is the catalyst zeolite with no nickel, and this is zeolite with nickel. And you can see clearly the qualities are different. Without going into the meaning of this, but at least you can see the properties are different. All this I'm trying to just show that we have done all the, here another important observation for the DEM. Again, this was done in India. At nanoscale, the here 50 nanometer. So we are able to show how nickel is there on the surface and what are the average sizes of nickel. And then we went ahead to look at acidity, the surface. We tried to look at the, again, after adding the nickel, after adding the boron. And then finally, we tried to summarize everything on this table. Here you can see, even without having any chemistry background, that look at the numbers, at least you know numbers. This one has a number like this, right? 1,700 plus. By adding nickel, the number goes down. That's why we say there is a problem when you add nickel. And now our problem is how do we take it back to the number? At least that is easy to understand. So we attempted that, and you can see by adding boron of the 10%, the number now goes back to 1,300, right? That telling you the name of the numbers. And then the second one, similar. The third one from 886 down to 646, and now up to 1,100. That's the important point that we discovered, which again is part of our patent claim. The boron not only mitigates the effect of nickel, it can improve the organic zeolite. Here, as you can see, not only that we move from 886, which was original zeolite, right? Now it moves down to 646, which is bad. But when we added boron, it goes all the way above the original. Now it's 1,768. Again, of course, this part of our documentation, and that's why we build this catalytic is better than the previous catalysts. So these are again other result-driven activity. This is sample performance. We try to look at performance of this catalyst apart from the characterization, the actual performance in the reactor. And then, of course, here we use a model compound to show how likely reaction would be, the program would be. This is the NF10 as our reactant. And as you can see, just focus on this. When you have only double cracking versus when you have no any nickel, 0, versus when you have large amount of nickel. Clearly you can see hydrogen and methanes are produced more in the presence of nickel. So when we look at it again, here you can see that addition of boron improves the performance. This is more result. This is more addition of boron. As you can see clearly that addition of boron leads to depletion and decrease in the hydrogen and methane, giving us a better catalyst. Again, we try to look at the same using different compound. 135 triisopropyl. And again, you can see clearly in all cases, addition of nickel leads to more of hydrogen and methane, and addition of boron tends to depress that unwanted material. Again, more result, I will go into detail, but this is summary. As you can see, nickel presence leads to large production of hydrogen for both our model compounds and methane also. For addition of boron, you see is decreasing the amount of hydrogen and methane, which is very important in terms of mitigating the effect of nickel on the surface. So I can quickly conclude that we have seen that nickel deactivate, and using our X-ray analysis, we are able to know exactly what phase of nickel is responsible for the deactivation. And we have found that by addition of boron, we are able to decrease the negative effect of nickel on the catalyst surface. We have some few recommendations, which already the new chair professor has been started implementing. We say that we should look at the computational approach because now computers are available, so that we have better insight on the catalyst performance, even what testing in the reactor. Also, I'm very happy PTDF is here. We would like to have more advanced cracking because as I have shown, we use model reactants. We would like to have more advanced systems. Also, we like to have more advanced way of testing the activation. All this will convince anybody outside the country to believe in what we are trying to show. So, to summarize, we have many output. You just check our name on the internet to see all sorts of publications. Here we have many, given in the summary in the paper. We have some patents, some already registered, some in the process. We have more equipment that we are able to purchase in the lab. And then we have 13 PhD students. One page is missing, 13 PhD students. I'm very happy that we have students from the chair. We have MSc students who will produce 11 of them. Again, this is, in fact, last week there was a comment from the years of TED funds, how much they are spending to train PhD students. More than 100 million per student. So I can imagine how much billions if you save PTDF as an alternative way to train MSc and PhD students. And we produce the same output actually. The papers published in the National Journal, the citation. So actually, if you support us, we can do more in terms of producing PhD and MSc graduates. As a result, I will not take you into more detail, but the same zeolite, we try to change it into different hierarchical zeolite, which means it's very simple concept actually. We break the windows, can you see? It's a very simple concept. And we were able to show very beautiful results. And imagine this very useless, high viscous oil into something that can flow. And in fact, when we presented this at the National Society of Chemical Engineers, our student got an award. Best paper that year. So the June certificate, we were very happy that he got this. And recently, just this year, our PhD student presented a work in Kano on similar works, and then they got this beautiful certificate. This is for both undergraduates and PhD students, because our students in ABU are performed in both categories, PhD and undergraduate. So I'm very happy that we have this. So my summary and outlook is very simple. Now I believe, based on what I know from other places, other countries, PTDF here, if you know, is a center of excellence in terms of zeolite catalysis and other areas of catalysis. We have demonstrated clearly, if you check the paper and then check our patents, we can show new synthesis methods with zeolite, simpler, cheaper, and then modification of zeolite, very important areas of zeolite development. And then, of course, we are now going into computational analysis. Some students here, they are into computational aspect of how site here is into computational aspect of zeolite, which is very important new approach. And then, of course, we have patents. We are now into the issue of how to commercialize some of the work. And already we have established collaborations. Recently, leading us, Dr. Awad, we are having collaboration with Chinese. Our work in the literature, they say, let us work together. And forum for China and Africa, FOCA. Some of you are aware about FOCA. So I'm looking forward to establishing the BC sign the paper. So every day we are praying to get that money. I remember this in 2018 that PTDF wanted to stop. Can you see the title? PTDF to tackle refinery challenges? How it import of practice. That was 2018. I'm very happy the ES is here. I will not ask you what happened so far, but at least remember that 2018 PTDF wanted to stop practice importation. But it's not too late. 2015 we can still restart that dream. And ABU is really willing to help you to achieve that. This is in the Bangladesh. It's not like I'm not creating anything. It's there in the Bangladesh of August 16, 2018. It was 3:38 a.m. when I opened that news. So I'm really excited. But now down the line, about 10 years later, but it's not too late actually. ABU has done a lot. I'm waiting for you guys. Some of you remember this big news, breaking news, when number refinery was being put in operation. Right? For me, the excitement was how can we replace catalytic? Right? The hardware is very important. We brought from different places, but the important one is this consumption of catalyst every day. How do we stop information? Because once you have the hardware, it's like your car. Once you have the car, you have the car. But then the fuel is the problem. Everybody has to fuel. Or if you have your phone, it's very simple, right? But the data consumption. So this catalyst is a issue. As I said, there are 9 different units in the refinery that use catalyst. How do we start producing locally? Do we continue to import? This is a question that we need to answer. And it's very simple actually. We have shared before, Professor Ahmadu is not here. I'm sure how to produce zeolite from an clay. The brand driver is expert on this. And it's very simple process actually. We just need to do it. And then I remember I was in Ankara, I was very young. With Mustafa is now a very old man. So we were here, we took samples, tried to locally produce, and we did, actually. So now we only look forward to commercial production. So this is a fact. Again, I will not take your time. We have done all the initial part. Some of our work, we have pilots. Some we have just finished the eventual scale work. But eventually, the benefit of science is to commercialize. Right? These are a list of patents. These are patents that are under review, registered, and we thank the PTDF for this wonderful opportunity. We have been getting support from PTDF. ABU, we have been having support. I'm very lucky to pass through 3 or 2 from vice chancellors. I remember when I was just started, Brenda was the vice chancellor. And in fact, there's something I have not mentioned. PTDF established, PTDF is here, Zeolite version group. I remember it was Professor Brenda was pushed, but then somehow I don't know what happened. You know, I talk about working group. So it's very important to activate it. What else I would like to thank the department, because whatever we have done is under the department. The employee is here. We thank you very much for the support, and our team. You see here is from the students. The students are really the most important part of the team. We have collaboration, but it's the most important part. Our friends from other places, Collins in Nottingham, help us a lot. My friend in Sweden, he did a lot of analysis for us. Sometimes I send some report to my laboratory at St. Thomas University. Also, Petroleum Refinery, we have some collaboration. And Dangote is really the most important, last recent collaboration, and we hope to continue to produce new results. We have worked with the chemistry department, ABU, and I thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry for the you know that if I tell my wife, you say, school. I'm not there. You know somebody. But I say yes, it's Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much for the presentation, and also for his perseverance. Even after getting this, he came back and was able to finish the presentation. Thank you very much, sir, for the presentation. The chairman of the event, Professor S.S. Aditla, will give us some few remarks. He's online. A response to the presentation.
Once again, I want to stand on existing protocols. It's a little bit unfortunate that Professor Ayaku had to go out a little bit during this program. But what happened also showed an important thing that is going on in the chair. Human capital training. you saw that when he was out, somebody else came in. He continued seamlessly in what he was talking about. This person that came in has been part of the chair since inception, 22 years ago. He was a research assistant that time and is chair professor right now. Point I'm trying to make is that the chair has been so well established that continuity is established. Now, talking about the activation and presentation with the correct chair is doing, and a lot of work has been done, after which more work is to be done. Sure, we are convinced that the chair has come to stay. Talk briefly about the non-chemistry part of petroleum. Then the chemistry part of it, the chair is actually engineering. The key, the core of it is catalytic cracking. And think about what happens during cracking. Replacement is needed. I'm sure by the time all of us need either we're going to drink water, drink coffee, and so on and so forth. So you could see that the chair has ensured that we have covered all these aspects. And in the course of his presentation, he did show what the things that we need to right now. At the time we started, there were so many things that we needed, but some of these things, some of these needs are being met gradually. Please see the list of equipment that we still need to use, either for analysis or for whatever, which we are actually using from India. Sure, I want to believe that within the next 2-3 years, we are getting the whole complement of all these lists. Once again, we have to thank everybody, starting from God, starting and then followed by PTDF that has provided this opportunity, and for the university that has fully supported the venture that's going on, and for Dangote that we're able to use. They have opened their doors for us to know what they're doing and how we can join forces to actually help us to bring this work to fruition. He told us that the catalyst that Refinery charged into his system was 485,000 tons, and there's a replacement of 9,000, say approximately 10,000 tons a day. All these can be provided within in-country, and we know what that means for us economically and security-wise. So, once again, we thank you, Professor Ayako, for this presentation, and we thank PTDF for giving the opportunity, and we thank Ahmadu University for providing a space and every other thing that is needed to do this work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Professor S.S. Nadifila. Another minor adjustment to the program. We will not allow Professor Ibrahim Garba leave without some remarks. May I call on former Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibrahim Garba.
These days I'm used to only my students. Vice Chancellor, the representative of the PTDF, ES, professors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. this program is something that I actually hold in my heart because I've been so interested in it right from the time of Professor Defila. Because what they are using is actually a mineral, and I mean, I'm a geologist, so this is my food, and so we have to be sure that we follow. Secondly, we never knew Dangote was going to come online when we started this. So thank God, along the line, Dangote Refinery came in so huge. 2018-19, when we formed this working group, NNPC was there, Dangote Group was there, PTDF, but everybody was clear that the government side, NNPC, we were just wasting time. Remember? Yes, they will bring 10 people, this director, manager, director, this, all for nothing. And look at they have no refinery working. Yes. So if we are relying on NNPC, we have to go and worry this research. Nevertheless, the research for me has taken too long. Not because of incapacity intellectually, but for the epileptic funding from PTDF. I know for several years, all the chairs of PTDF, I worked with many of them. PTDF chair, not even in the ABU Zaria. To be honest with you, the funding PTDF gives, apart from not being adequate, it doesn't come on time. I'm not speaking for them, but this is something that we know. So a research of this magnitude, for example, how do you now live on research for 20 years and you're still hovering around, middle level instead of attempting even a point where you have patents, but commercialization becomes nearly impossible. And if you know the mindset of Dangote Group, is that they don't want too much grammar. What works is what works. So around this time, we should have actually be loading Dangote trucks that are bringing cement with Zeolite back to the refinery to be putting it in there. It does not have to work 100%. That's how Dangote works. If it's performing even 60-70%, it's still cost effective, probably for them. They're importing dollars. Because I remember around 2018-19, they said even within the few NNPC funds that were working, the import was almost $200 million per annum. That's costing Nigeria. Not even now when Dangote has imported. I'm telling you, anyone that knows Dangote, he said he has only grown gray hair when you have doing this refinery work. And this is his life achievement. Whatever you do to help him, believe me, he will hold it to us. So I believe that at this point, the university, PTDF will help support us to really go into practicalities. He didn't mention even the Petroleum that they were using. We know it's not even the best Petroleum, despite the fact that you have it. Because it's a lot of the things, the coarse particles are there, which you have to attend, the separation. So there are better kaolin. And by providence, kaolin is one of the most abundant and cheapest minerals in Nigeria. So you could see when you have these raw materials and the powerhouse is here, I mean, it's just resources, to be honest with you, to take this into pilot scale. We should be producing maybe 10 tons, 100 tons, and so on and so forth for testing purpose. Yes, finally. And then you know what he will have to help. He can help you produce 10,000 tons at a go because he knows it's beneficial. So I continue to urge that much of the work, honestly, relies on the PTDF. Unless PTDF will decide the end of the journey. Yes, because when the project there has to be a close-up. At one point, will PTDF transfer this to the real operators in the industry? That is why we are not progressing. Like you said, publication, knowledge, but the market is there next door. How do we deliver this thing to the immediate market? And the market is there waiting. So I want to also thank everybody, the stakeholders, PTDF, the university, and you have been so resilient. You mentioned something. When you are mentioning that thing, you are equating it to a kitchen, your wife, and your wife must have had. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for putting the ice on the cake. Round of applause for Professorial. Some participants online are indicating they want to ask questions, but we don't have permission for that now, and there will be a forum to do that afterwards. May I call on the incoming professorial chair occupant, Professor Ahmadu, for his statement.
Thank you very much. We are grateful to Almighty Allah who has made us. We are grateful to Almighty Allah who has made us to be able to host this event successfully. Our host, my employer, represented by the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Professor Ahmadu, thank you very much, sir. For the past few days, he has been calling me at least 3 times per day, asking me how is this going on, what is this? The last question he asked me last night was after 9. He called me. He said, "Look, these are the patents. I want commercialization." That's what he asked me. After 9 last night, that he wants commercialization. And that is the next logic step for this project. All stakeholders must put hands together to actualize this. And I'm sure we are going to push it. It's going to be the number 1 item in the work we're going to do. Commercialization. Our PTDF, thank you so much for the funding you provided. Yes, we are pleased. We're asking for more. We're asking whether we should actualize it. The working group has been on in common calls. We must make this work, and it should be private sector driven. We can't afford to fail the country. We can't just afford. This message should be passed across the years. We can't afford to fail. This has to be done. We are going to give our last energy, inshallah, to get this done. Yes, we are going to do it. Our host, this building, beautiful building, Deputy Vice Chancellor, sir. We are so grateful for providing this building for us, electricity, facility. I so much like this building. I'm in love with this building. So let me give you a space. I'll move over here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for having us. Professor Ibrahim Gabba, the former VC, I'm so grateful for honoring us. It's a big surprise. I sent the flag. I sent it to you. When I saw him coming, I thought, thank you so much, sir. And I know there are things he's working on. I don't want to let it cut out of the bag. I know there are things he's working on to actualize this. And I know he's working with our Vice Chancellor on actualizing this. We're going to push it, sir. Thank you so much for the energy, what you want, the message you want us to get this project to. The immediate chair, Professorial, is my teacher, my supervisor, trusted, my mentor, and everything. I'm so grateful for what you've done to me personally, to the university, and to the society generally. He's so humble. He didn't really want this event publicized or anything. Something. He just wanted a room of 5 or 6 people. Really. It's not possible. We will give it the appropriate publicity. I can't miss out on our chairman, Professor S.S. Adefila. My first job was under him in this university. I was a research assistant under him. Professor Adefila, the father is a teacher. He has been everything. I don't know, Professor, we are grateful for everything you've done, your service to this university. You put so much in this university, and I'm sure on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, we are so grateful for what you are doing to the university. And I know that you yourself, you are putting energy on commercialization. We all come to a point, at a certain point. I know your passion on that. Thank you so much, sir, for what you are doing. I won't miss out on the register. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to see you back much healthier. May Allah's give you better health. I pray for you. Professor Dikula told me a story about him, that they used to work on that committee, that they work 2-3 a.m. incidentally that they are working. That 3 a.m. he will drive down to the rest. How the energy he brings to his job. The university is lucky with the set of people we have. I'm sure we're going to just move to the next strata by God's grace. Then my team, I can't miss out my team. My team, thank you so much for everything you put in here. My HOD Professor Bello, thank you, sir. Thank you for everything support you put in. My colleagues are here, my fellow colleagues, everybody, we appreciate what you have done in actualizing this. As Prof has said, it's a teamwork. And I won't miss out on students. We have our postgraduate students here, we have undergraduate students. Are you guys here? Yes. They are the workers, they are the food soldiers. They spend endless hours in the lab actualizing our needs. We will just sit in the office, they send an email to us, the results, we review the results, but these are the people working. And for us, our success is what the output from you. We are so grateful for every one of you students, for what you put in, for what we have achieved so far. Continue to do it till when we get the plant running and you have a job there working. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, I did this. Thank you for calling. When earlier broke down, we have the people from the sick bay. We have the doctor here. Thank you, sir, for quickly coming over. The director too. Director, thank you, sir. The director is here. The nurse is here. They give us cover. That's why we have to continue. If you had asked us not to do this again, we'll have stopped. So we are grateful for your services. We highly appreciate it. Then the public relationship department, the MC, the director, Mala Awal, everybody, the director, these are the people that deliver this. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for everyone for what you've done to actualize this. We are grateful. But this is the beginning. We still need your energy to move forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, and this brings us to the end of the program. And we take 1 minute to pray according to the dictates of our individual faiths as concluding prayer. Sorry, just before that, comments from PTDF, please.
I just wanted to respond to the well, research and innovation is very dear to PTDF. Just recently, the ES set up a committee that came up with a 10-year strategic roadmap for this one for the first time. And there are 6 key pillars in that document, and research and innovation is part of it. And he didn't just talk about that, he set up a department, research and innovation department, that will be dealing with just research and innovation. Before it was under and then I think. But now we have a department that will be liaising with all the branches. So I believe we are both, and the ES is really working very hard to see how we can enhance the endowment program. So we are going to meet up with all the demands that will be made by the president. Because of course we have budgetary constraints and we have other competing, issues that we deal with, because the PTDF is an agency that deals with capacity building in the oil and gas industry. And in line with the requirement of the mandate, we have like 3 strategic areas that we deal with: human capacity development, institutional capacity, and research and development. So you can see that research is very key to PTDF mandate. And we'll keep on doing our best to see that, yes, what we do, the industry will benefit at the end of the day, to the benefit of God and the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on that note, we take the close prayer. Thank you very much for attending, and we wish every one of you safe right back to your various destinations. We'll take a group photograph outside.
You said?
Just outside the building. Group photograph, please. A group photograph will be outside the building and entrance, please.